Hello everybody and Happy New Year! Welcome back to another video. As we're halfway through the Premier League season already, I know, I thought it would be a good idea to review the first half of the Premier League season. Let's start with the table. Okay, as of the first day of the new year, Liverpool sit first on 45 points, Arsenal second on 39 points, Nottingham Forest are third on 37 points, Chelsea are fourth on 35 points, and Newcastle are fifth on 32 points. I'll be going over every club individually, but my first thought is that it really looks like Liverpool are already running away with this. Arne Slot has come, seen, and conquered immediately, which has shocked everyone. And another strange thing is Nottingham Forest are in third. How? They finished the last season in 17th place, just above the drop zone, and without making any changes, they've somehow come back and are now fighting for Champions League positions. That is definitely a surprise. But yeah, that's just a broad overview. Now, I think it's time to look at each club in more depth. Let's get into it. As I've said already, Liverpool have really started to run away with the league, which is surprising because most people expected Liverpool to have a mid-season as they got used to a new manager and his new tactics. But no, they've somehow come out and proven why they're worthy to win the title. Mo Salah has been leagues above everyone so far this season, especially with the 17 goals and 13 assists to his name. It has been the likes of him, Luis Diaz, Cody Gakpo, who have been bagging goals for fun at the moment. But it's not only those two, but everyone at Liverpool have also been putting in a shift recently. The likes of Ryan Gravenberch in midfield, even Virgil van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold in defence. He's been so good, Liverpool are on their knees to keep him and renew his contract that runs out in the summer. So far in the league, Liverpool have won 14 games and drawn 3, with their only loss being a shock defeat to Nottingham Forest in September. They also have a game in hand from the match against Everton at Goodison Park, which was postponed because of storms. With a 6-point lead over second place Arsenal and with a game in hand, Liverpool have a very good chance of winning the title this year. Arsenal are second again. What a surprise. Arsenal finished second in the league for the last 3 years, making many describe Arsenal as bottlers. Especially because the last time they won the Premier League was 2004. The fact they're still second does not help things at all. So far this season, Arsenal have won 11 games, drawn 6 and lost 2. That's right, I've done my research, boys. One thing that is getting memed a lot is the fact that Arsenal always manage to score from corners, which has given them the nickname of Stoke City or Corner FC. That's how I like to call them. This is something Arsenal should probably work on in the new year, scoring from open play. While scoring corners is useful, it's probably not something they should keep doing. Heck, Arsenal's set-piece coach now has his own mural in North London. That's how many goals Arsenal have scored from corners. They even scored a corner against Brentford on New Year's Day. That's how much they score from corners. It's mad. One of Arsenal's key players so far this season has been Martin Odegaard, whose creativity and consistency makes him another of Arsenal's key players. Another key player is Bukayo Saka, who has scored 5 goals and got 10 assists so far this season. Unfortunately, he's out 2 months for the hamstring injury, so how he'll do for the rest of the season remains to be seen. One key player that's been in good form recently is Gabriel Jesus, who scored a hat-trick against Crystal Palace in the Carabao Cup, and has not stopped scoring since, with 2 more goals against Palace again, but in the Premier League this time, and then another goal against Brentford on New Year's Day. Perhaps he's the player that's stepping up to fill the shoes of the injured Bukayo Saka. Anyway, Arsenal were looking a bit off in December. Perhaps in January they might get a bit stronger and even go and destroy teams like they did last year. Perhaps they might even win the league. But I don't think so anymore. This is the most surprising result so far this season. Like I said in the intro, Forest finished 17 at the end, not far off relegation. So the fact Forest are in third place halfway through the season is quite a surprise. They weren't even that busy in the transfer market as well, as their one notable signing is James Ward-Prowse, who has come from West Ham on loan. Currently, Forest have won 11, drawn 4 and lost 4. I think one of the reasons Forest have been a top team is because Chris Wood has been on fire this season, with 11 goals and an assist in 19 games. This is actually amazing for him, seeing as he really didn't do much last season. Overall, Forest has been doing amazingly so far this season, showing how Nuno is the man for the job there, and if they keep up the work they've been doing, they could have a chance to play in the Champions League next season, something they haven't done since 1979. This is also a bit of a surprise. Chelsea finished 6th in the league last season. Then came the shock of Maurizio Pochettino leaving and the signing of Enzo Maresca, who many fans thought didn't have what it takes to manage a club as big as Chelsea, having just come from newly promoted Leicester. Well, he's gone and proven everyone wrong, as Chelsea won 10 games, drawn 5 and lost 4. Cole Palmer has been on fire with 12 goals and 6 assists this season, and Nicholas Jackson has also greatly improved under Maresca with 9 goals and 3 assists already. The improvement of our attackers means that it's understandable why Chelsea have scored the most goals in the league with a whopping 38. However, Chelsea might have gone too overconfident, as the Christmas season has been less than ideal for Chelsea, with a draw to Everton and losses to Fulham and Ipswich, which we should be winning. While losses to Liverpool and Manchester City at the beginning of the season were understandable, this is not good enough from Chelsea, who have a good enough squad to stay in the top 4, but maybe not challenge Liverpool for the title. If they get a much better centre-back and a new goalkeeper, winning the league might be possible. Don't really have much to say about Newcastle, really. They struggled at the beginning of the season, but now they're flying. Alexander Isak has been amazing, having scored 12 goals so far this season. The third most goals of any player in the league so far this season as well, actually. Newcastle have won 9, drawn 5 and lost 5. Honestly, if they keep doing what they're doing, they will go far. That's all I really have to say about them. What on earth has happened to Manchester City? By the way, check out this video here if you want to see my thoughts on the matter. Things have really been strange for Manchester City. They started off really well, with Erling Haaland scoring back-to-back hat-tricks against Ipswich and West Ham, but it was after Rodri's injury in their 2-2 draw against Arsenal where Manchester City really started falling down. They went on to lose 5 successive games, with it culminating in Pep Guardiola's questionable sayings.
I want to hurt myself, yeah.
This was after their draw against Feyenoord, and Man City have still been just really bad. However, after the loss to Villa, things did actually start to look up. City drew 1-1 to Everton, and then beat Leicester City 2-0. Could things actually be looking up for Man City? Boy, I hope not. Not really much to say about Bournemouth, to be honest. Losing Solanke to Tottenham was certainly a loss, but the signing of Evan Nilsson was good for Bournemouth, as he is actually now finding his stride, scoring back-to-back against Villa, City and Brentford, and he then scored against Fulham in Bournemouth's last game of 2024. So now he is starting to find his stride, and Bournemouth in 7th is better than anyone probably would have expected, as they finished 12th at the end of last season. So perhaps they could actually do better this season. Fulham has certainly done a lot better this season. Players like Adama Traore being a beast, and Emile Smith-Rowe has also been amazing since he left Arsenal for Fulham. Marco Silva's Fulham are even breaking records by beating Chelsea at Stamford Bridge for the first time since 1979, with Rodrigo Muniz scoring the winner. Yep, that one hurt. I'll talk about it more another time, but one of the reasons that Fulham have done so well that they have done, especially again in the match against Chelsea, for example, is because of Marco Silva's incredible use of substitutes. Harry Wilson came off the bench to provide the equaliser for Fulham on Boxing Day, and he did the same thing in Fulham's match against Brentford at Craven Cottage, where he came off the bench to provide the equaliser and the winner against the Bees. Harry Wilson is another player who has also been sensational for Fulham, as you can tell. So, overall, for Fulham, they've been really strong so far, and let's hope they can stay this strong because it makes them exciting to watch, and they could finish higher than 13th, which is where they finished last year. The favourite club of the Prince of Wales has had a very mid-start to the season. They seem to be doing alright so far in the Champions League, something that most, including myself, thought would wear them down. All in all though, they've done alright. John Duran has been the definition of a super sub, always scoring off the bench, and he's always scoring screamers as well. Morgan Rogers has also been putting in a shift. He's really proven himself since he's joined from Middlesbrough. He's also been rubbing his arms a lot as well, which goes to show as he's scored 6 goals and assisted 3 already. So yeah, he's been rubbing his arms a lot. Not a lot as some other people, mind you, but a lot. Emi Martinez has also been really good. His goal line save against Nottingham Forest has been discussed as one of the saves of the season, despite Forest coming back to win 2-1. Ollie Watkins has also been really good, with 8 goals and 4 assists. However, he has been outshone by John Duran recently, with his super sub heroics. So, what he really needs to go do now is score a lot of goals, so then he's back in like the shining lights and stuff, you know. While Villa have been alright, they could do a lot better, and I'm sure that will come. Villa fans, you just gotta be patient. And in 10th place, we have Chelsea. Well, the rate Chelsea are going, they will be back here. No, actually, it's Brighton. Brighton have had a good start to the season, but more recently they've sort of like slowed down and not really done as well. Fabian Hurtzler has really proven his worth in the Premier League, and props to him because he's been really good, and it's his first year in the best football league in the world, and he's the youngest manager in the league. So perhaps he may not have as much experience as some others, but apart from that, he's like really shown his worth. Overall, Brighton have done fairly well. I'm interested to see how the rest of the year goes on for them, and I hope Fabian Hurtzler stays on. He's done really well so far.
What do we think of Tottenham? What do you think of shit? Thank you!
My oh my, where do I start with Tottenham? How about in 19 games they've won 7, drawn 3 and lost 9? Because that's just funny. After all, this is the season where Ange Postecoglou said he would win things. Well, that certainly isn't going to happen in the Premier League. Tottenham's record so far this season has not been great. In the typical Tottenham fashion, they won games no one expected them to win, and they lost points where everyone expected them to win. Like in the first game of the season, Tottenham played Leicester, a team that had just been promoted from the Championship, and everyone expected Tottenham to win this. But they drew instead. The same thing happened against Ipswich, a newly promoted team who has been struggling so far in the league. Yet Ipswich won 2-1. How? Tottenham's weird form has even made even weirder when they go to the Etihad to play Man City and they batter them 4-0. How? Tottenham has always been inconsistent, but somehow this year it's been the worst. You never know what Tottenham are going to do next, giving their fans stress, anxiety and depression worse than Toby Jizzle when he watches Man United.
What makes you cry? Point number 3?
Man United.
But don't worry, Toby, we'll come to them later. Brentford have certainly done a lot better than last year, especially with the absence of Ivan Toney, who left for Saudi Arabia in August. Brian Mbeumo has definitely stepped up with 11 goals and 2 assists so far. Mark Flecken has been great in goal, and the GTEC Stadium has also been a fortress for Brentford, often winning when they play at home. Let's hope Brentford keep it up in the new year. West Ham have not had a great season so far. They have only won 6 games, and they've drawn 5 and they've lost 8. It's not the best. They definitely had better seasons under David Moyes, so why he left is beyond me. And honestly, I don't think Julian Lopetegui has long left, if you ask me. They finished 9th last season. Hopefully they can do something better. But the way Lopetegui's going, I don't think they will, so he's going to get the sack soon.
Manchester United.
Manchester United have had a shit season. There's no beating around the bush here. The fact Erik ten Hag stayed for this season was already questionable. He did horrible the last season, and I think the only reason he stayed was because the board felt he might do better now that he had won the FA Cup. But I won't say much more about him. You can go and watch this video here to find out more. Ten Hag had made some decent signings, like 18-year-old Lenny Yoro, showing that United were looking at future talents. though I am a bit unsure as why Euro chose to sign for Manchester United when Real Madrid wanted him. But whatever. Perhaps he should have waited for Real Madrid, because he went to Man United and immediately got injured, which is one of the main reasons United have struggled. Their injuries. I don't know what Ten Hag was doing on the training ground. I don't think anyone knows, to be honest. But whatever he did, Manchester United players managed to sustain a lot of injuries. This has subsided a little bit now Amorim has come in, unless you're Mason Mount, but he's not been good since he left Chelsea. Then Ten Hag got sacked and Amorim came in. And so far, he has been unable to steady the ship, with only 2 Premier League wins so far. This is why Man United sit 14th in the table, only 6 points above the relegation zone. It's been bad for Manchester United, but it has never been this bad. Amorim himself has said that he needs some time to work with the team and to work with the players to get them playing his style of football. But with Ineos' transfer ban, because they're broke, Amorim is now unable to bring in the players he wants to make the team better. So, 2025 will be a struggle for United fans.
United!
Crystal Palace also haven't been great. The loss of Michael Olise to Bayern Munich wasn't great, but they brought in some decent players like Daichi Kamada from Lazio. But Palace also do have their good players, like Mark Guéhi in defence, and Jean-Philippe Mateta and Eberechi Eze up top. And they haven't done too badly. Though at the end of last season, Mateta was banging goals for fun, and so far this season he's scored 4, which isn't as great. Hopefully he can get back into the same form as he was in last season. And Oliver Glasner was alright as well last season, getting Palace to 10th after the sacking of Roy Hodgson. However, so far this season he hasn't been able to repeat the results from last year, which could mean time might be up for him. Everton normally aren't great, so it's not really surprising to see them down here. After all, they finished last season in 15th, so it could be likely Everton might get relegated. So far this season, some of Everton's best players have been Dwight McNeil, Iliman Ndiaye and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. But Everton's best player by far has been their goalkeeper Jordan Pickford, with 7 clean sheets, the second most in the league so far. I can guarantee when Pickford leaves, Everton will be relegated. Pickford is a rocking goal, he always has been, and he is the only person that has kept Everton out of relegation so far. Perhaps if they bring back Neil Maupay from his loan at Marseille, they might do a bit better, but I only want him back for his shithousery, which I miss now he no longer plays in the Premier League. It was funny. Wolves have done a lot worse this season. They did decently in the league last year, like completing the double over Chelsea, proving why Gary O'Neill was the man for the job. However, this season, Wolves have absolutely flopped, which explains why Gary O'Neill was sacked in December and replaced by Vitor Pereira. Though he only started last month, he has done decently so far, with 2 wins in 3, but only time will tell how he will do. Now we're moving into the teams facing relegation, starting with 18th placed Ipswich Town. Ipswich haven't had the best start to the Premier League, but it's been decent, with great performances from Liam Delap and Amari Hutchinson, who have collectively scored 9 goals and registered 3 assists in 18 games. Delap has actually been so good that many clubs have been interested in him, including Chelsea, so he may go elsewhere next season. Right now though, Ipswich under Kieran McKenna haven't done too badly. They've not done great, but neither did the newly promoted teams last season as well, which is a bit worrying, but a topic for a later video. Yeah, this is a bit of a shocking one. For the first few months, Leicester had done alright in the Premier League, but then Steve Cooper was sacked and replaced by Ruud van Nistelrooy, who had been amazing for Man United when he took over after Ten Hag had been sacked. However, he hasn't really done as well here at Leicester. He's only won 1 game in 6, and that was against West Ham. While he has tried, he hasn't got the results that he got in the 4 games he managed for Man United. At United, he played 4 games and won 3 of them, and he drew his other game. This gives us a big what if. What if Van Nistelrooy had stayed at United? United would probably be doing better. Sporting would also be doing better because they would still have Amorim, and Leicester would look stupid for sacking Steve Cooper. Whoever made the decision to sack Steve Cooper, that's who I blame for Leicester's current position. Leicester have good players like Ndidi and Vardy, but they aren't performing under Van Nistelrooy, who will most likely also get the sack soon. From week 1, everyone thought Southampton were going to go back down, which is a shame because it again shows how newly promoted clubs think they can play the same way they did in the Championship. However, the Premier League is a different ballgame altogether, pun intended. This is the exact thing that happened to Russell Martin. He came to the Premier League and played exactly as he did in the Championship, allowing every other Premier League club to just walk all over Southampton, which cost Martin his job. He was replaced by Ivan Juric from Roma, and we'll have to see what he does with Southampton. And so far, he's played 2 games and lost them both. So, things don't look too good for him in the club. So there you go, guys, and that is my mid-season review of the Premier League. If you enjoyed, please be sure to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Peace.